Hey crafty friends, I'm Kelly Wicker. Welcome back to my channel and my craft room. I'm so happy to have you here. This isn't just any card, it's a tribute to someone who touched so many lives, and I can't wait to share her story with you. Today's card project is extra special. I'm creating with the Sharon Scissors Edge dies from Spellbinders, made in loving memory of Sharon Klima. This 6-piece set creates an adorable pair of scissors with heart-shaped finger grips, plus 2 sentiment strips that read, "You are always in my heart." A portion of every sale is donated to the American Heart Association in Sharon's honor. It's important to talk about this one. Sharon passed away suddenly in January 2025, and this set was designed by Josie as a heartfelt tribute to her. I didn't personally know Sharon, but when I heard her story, I knew I wanted to create with this set. Spellbinders was kind enough to send it to me as part of my work as an affiliate, and I feel truly honored to share it with you today. Sharon was known for her warm, infectious smile and her deep love for paper crafting. She was a long-standing store owner, instructor, creator, and mentor who played a vital role in the paper craft community. Friends often teased her how much she loved fussy cut, so of course these scissors were designed especially in her honor. I wanted to show you the very special card I made with this set. Here it is. And check out that beautiful sparkle I added. I hope the camera's picking it up. I used Distress Texture Paste Sparkle for the first time, and it worked out great. Super fun to use, and it actually dries pretty quickly. Now I want to show you how to create this beautiful card, so without further ado, let's get into the card making, y'all. Today I'm starting off with some really basic ink blending using Distress Oxide inks. For my cardstock I'm using Hammermill, and the colors I picked for today's blended background are KITSCH Flamingo, Carved Pumpkin, Squeezed Lemonade, and Twisted Citron. I wanted a nice wide margin, so I'm placing a 1-inch wide, very low-tack tape all the way at the edge of my cardstock on all 4 sides. My panel is already trimmed to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, and this wide tape will leave a nice even frame once we peel it away. So I'm just carefully finishing placing down the tape, making sure it's as straight as I can possibly get it for this design. I'm running my fingers along the edges to make sure it's sealed down so no ink sneaks underneath, but I'm not pressing so hard that it'll tear paper later. You could absolutely do this same kind of framed design with a stencil, but today I wanted to try the tape method. It gives me that nice crisp clean border that really makes a background pop. Now that the tape is down, it's time for the fun part, the ink blending. I've got a variety of blending brushes here, all ready to go. I really need to find a better way to store my brushes so the bristles don't get contaminated with other leftover colors, but for now, they're working just fine. My Distress Oxide pads are pretty juicy, so I don't need to load up too much at once. I'm starting with KITSCH Flamingo at the top, then I'll blend into Carved Pumpkin, then Squeezed Lemonade, and finally Twisted Citron at the bottom. I'm not going in with a super light touch here. I tend to have a heavier hand, so I'm using side-to-side sweeping motions to get a nice solid saturated color right from the start. Before I touch the panel, I always tap my brush. Well, I try to remember to tap my brush off to the side first, because I don't want that big blotch mark showing up right in the middle of my blend. I'll still overlap the color slightly so the transitions smoothly, but this way I get that bold, rich look I'm going for. I'm on the final color now, Twisted Citron, and I just love this green so much. It's such a bright, happy color. I'll give the whole panel a quick look over to see if I need to do any more blending. I'm aiming for a seamless blend, but honestly it's okay if it's not perfect because I'm going to be applying sparkle paste over it. I love seeing how these colors play together. The KITSCH Flamingo blending into Carved Pumpkin gives me this gorgeous coral tone. Carved Pumpkin into Squeezed Lemonade creates a warm sunny orange, and Squeezed Lemonade into Twisted Citron makes the fresh lime green that just makes the whole panel feel happy and vibrant. I'm just bringing a piece of paper towel here, cleaning up those splotches. And next up, I'm going to be bringing in Distress Texture Paste Sparkle. This is actually my first time playing with this paste, and it's been so fun to experiment with it this week. I'm grabbing my Simon Hurley paste tool set to help apply it, and I can't wait to see how it transforms this background. Okay, y'all, this is just a really fun way to step things up a bit and a friendly reminder to get out those pastes and actually use them. I know I have so many in my stash, and the whole idea is to use our supplies, not just collect them. So to apply the sparkle paste, I'm using a palette knife to scoop some out of the jar and spread it onto my scraper tool. Instead of holding it at a slight angle, I'm going straight across the panel, making sure to cover the entire blended area from edge to edge. I want that gorgeous shimmer over the whole background, so no matter where the light hits, it sparkles. And here's a little tip. Keep paper towels or baby wipes nearby so you can clean your tools right away. Normally I'd save any leftovers and put them back in the jar, but because this paste is now mixed with ink from my background, I'm just going to wipe it off my scraper tool and toss it. Okay, y'all, so it's time for the big reveal, peeling back the tape. It's finally time for one of my favorite moments in the whole card making process, the reveal. After all that ink blending, it's time to very slowly and very carefully pull back the tape. I'm going extra slow here because the last thing I want is for anything to tear. Even though I'm using very low tack tape, it can still grab onto the cardstock if you rush it. I like to start at one corner and gently peel it back on itself at a low angle, keeping it close to the paper as I go. This way there's less stress on the fibers of the cardstock, and it helps avoid any lifting or fraying along that beautiful edge we worked so hard to create. Don't worry if you see that the ink on the edges of the card panel there, because I'm eventually going to trim this down. As the tape comes away, you start to see that gorgeous crisp white border framing the blended colors. And let me tell you, it never gets old. That clean edge instantly makes the background look finished and polished, like it's ready to be a piece of art all on its own. The colors seem even more vibrant now. The soft transition from KITSCH Flamingo into Carved Pumpkin gives me that warm coral glow. Carved Pumpkin melting into Squeezed Lemonade creates a sunny burst of orange, and Squeezed Lemonade flowing into Twisted Citron adds that fresh, bright lime green. All of it surrounded by that perfect white frame. Absolutely dreamy. It's such a satisfying little moment, that final step where you can fully appreciate that work you put into building up those colors. And it's a great reminder that sometimes the simplest details, like a clean white border, can make your whole design shine. Once the tape is off and I've admired it for a moment or two or five, it's time to move on to the next fun step. We're going to do some die cutting. So look at that background. Like I said, it doesn't matter if there's fraying on the edges or some ink on the edges, because we're going to trim this down a little bit. Okay, so I don't have a dedicated die cutting camera, but I thought I'd move my Anna Griffin Empress Mini die cut machine into the camera frame today so you can see it in action. Normally I keep it off to the side on my desk, but hey, maybe one of these days I'll get clever and add a second camera just for those kind of shots. Who knows? I'm pulling out my A2 Matting Basics die set and using the second to largest die to trim this panel down just a bit. This little machine is such a workhorse in my craft room. Compact, reliable, and it cuts beautifully every single time. I seriously love it. I place my panel in between the plates, making sure it's lined up just where I want it, and then I feed it right through. A few seconds later, out comes this perfectly trimmed panel with that clean, precise edge. And I just love how it instantly gives the background a more polished, professional look. It's such a small step, but it makes a big difference in the finished card. So check this out. So next up is the star of the show, the Sharon Scissors Etch Dies. For the sentiments it says, "You're always and in my heart." I'm using mirror gold cardstock from Spellbinders. It gives such a beautiful shine and really ties in with the special, elegant feel of this card. I'm using my magnetic mat for the die cutting, which I absolutely love because it keeps everything right where I place it. No tape needed. No slipping around as it goes through the machine. And would you believe I'm still using my very first set of plates for the Empress Mini? I haven't even replaced them yet. They've held up so well. I'm just using a piece of scrap from my stash of mirror gold cardstock here. I use this cardstock all the time, so I always keep every leftover piece. This is exactly the kind of project where those scraps really come in handy, because you don't need a full sheet for small elements like sentiments. So I'm lining up the dies for You Are Always and In My Heart on my magnetic mat, and it makes it so easy to get them straight and evenly spaced. I don't have to worry about them sliding around while I'm setting things up or running them through the machine. That's especially nice with delicate sentiment dies. You want them to be perfectly placed so they cut cleanly and look crisp when they are on the card. And this is why I always say, save your scraps. Little leftover pieces of specialty cardstock, glitter paper, or foils are perfect for sentiment strips, small die cuts, and accents. It's a great way to stretch your supplies and make sure nothing goes to waste. The Empress Mini makes this whole process even easier, especially if you have hand issues like I do. There's no cranking, no strain. You just load your plates, press the button, and let the machine do the work. It's quick, smooth, and gives a perfect cut every single time. So I have a question for y'all. Do you own a small die cut machine? If so, what kind do you prefer to use? I will have this one linked below in my description box with my affiliate to Amazon. I did find it on there. Okay, so it's time to die cut the scissors, y'all. For the blades, I picked Spellbinders Treasured Cardstock from the Silver Assorted Pack. I'm using the Mirror Metallic Silver, which gives them that realistic shiny metal look. For the handles, I'm using the Gold Assorted Pack with the Gold Glitter Cardstock. I just love the way these two finishes play together. The sleek silver with that sparkly gold is such a perfect combo. The pair of scissors is just so cute, and the best part is that you can really customize them to match your own scissors in your craft room. Want a pink handles? Go for it. Teal? Absolutely. There are 6 thin metal dies in this set, and they cut beautifully. The pieces layer together so easily, giving you that perfect little dimensional pair of scissors every time. I think every crafter needs a pair of scissors in their die cutting stash. It's one of those designs that's fun, versatile, and instantly recognizable on a card. I'll have this set linked down below in my description box, and remember, a portion of the proceeds from each sale will be donated to the American Heart Association in Sharon's honor. It's such a wonderful way to make something beautiful while also giving back. Once all the pieces are cut, it's time to start assembling our scissors and sentiments onto the card. To piece the scissors together, I'm using Barely Art glue. It's my favorite liquid glue because it's nice and strong, dries clear, and gives me just enough wiggle room to get things lined up perfectly. I store mine in fine line glue bottles from Spellbinders, which makes it so much easier to apply tiny, precise dots of glue exactly where I want them. When you're gluing metallic cardstock like the silver mirror I used for the blades, remember to give it a little extra time to grab and set before moving it around. Metallic and coated surfaces can be a bit slippery until the glue starts to dry, so patience here will save you from pieces shifting out of place. For the gold glitter handles, I'm using the same Barely Art glue to attach them to the blades, and then I'm adding the little hearts to the card with it as well. This glue holds beautifully, even on texture or glittery cardstock, which is one of the reasons I keep reaching for it despite all the new glue options out there. Okay, so I'm just finishing piecing together the scissors now, carefully lining up the glittery gold handles with the shiny silver blades so everything sits perfectly in place. Like I said, I'm using my Barely Arts glue here, just a small amount so it doesn't ooze out, but enough to get a strong hold. I love how the contrast between the metallic silver and glitter gold makes these little scissors look so realistic while still being so playful. Okay, now that handle is sticking onto the next one, and it doesn't need much glue, so giving it a good press down here. These scissors are so cute. There we go. Now I think it's sticking. All right, there we go. Oh, and wait a second. Oops. I almost forgot the little heart that goes on the blades. That's one of my favorite parts of this die set because it's such a sweet, subtle detail that makes the scissors even more special. So want to make sure to add that. So I'm going to glue that in place, and then there we go. It's all finished. Just look how cute they turned out, y'all. The sparkle from the handles, the shine from the blades, and that tiny heart just brings the whole piece together. They are the perfect focal point for this card. Okay, I have a pre-done note card ready to go. It's a top folding A2 size card. I'm going to adhere my finished card panel to the base using my Altenew foam tape because I wanted this panel to be popped up for a little extra dimension. I'm adding strips of the foam tape to the back, making sure I've got a good coverage so the panel sits nice and even without any sagging in the middle. Okay, I forgot, before I attach the card panel to the card base, I'm taking a moment to prep my sentiment strips here. I like to get these ready ahead of time so that once the panel is in place, everything else goes on smoothly without me having to stop and fuss around. It also gives me a chance to double check spacing and placement before I commit anything down permanently. So for this step, I'm trimming down my Altenew foam tape so it fits perfectly behind the sentiment strips. Altenew does have a variety of tape sizes, but I just started this larger roll and it works really well once I trim it down. I do have the other sizes in my stash in my craft room. So this is where my Spellbinder scissors really shine. They are non-stick, so cutting through sticky foam tape is no problem at all. They glide right through without gumming up, which makes the process so much easier. Honestly, if you work with adhesives a lot like I do, a pair of non-stick scissors is a game changer. They definitely earned a permanent spot in my craft room. I will have them linked down below in the description box with my affiliate link. Okay. Deep breath here. Before I start adding any of the elements to the card panel, I actually want to get the panel attached to the card base first. I'm flipping the panel over and adding 3 nice long strips of my Altenew foam tape to the back. I love the width of this tape. It's wide enough to give really solid support so the panel sits completely flat and doesn't bow in the middle. Now comes the nerve-wracking part, y'all. Attaching it. This is one of those steps where you only get one shot, so I have to stand up to do it. Okay, so I'm just finishing placing down the tape here. I really want this to go well. I'm really nervous here. I've told you all about my anxiety. I have really bad anxiety. So, one last strip here. Okay. There we go. That looks great. Okay, now we're on to the hard part. So I want to be directly over the card so I can see all the edges and make sure everything is perfectly straight. If it goes down crooked, well, let's just say that would be very hard to fix without tearing something. Okay, so just removing the backings here. And now I'm going to get ready to, I'm going to be hovering over the card base. So I try to do it sitting down at first, but it doesn't go very well. So, okay, so now I'm going to start standing up over the card base, holding the panel above it with just the lightest touch, shifting it ever so slightly until the borders look perfectly even on all sides. I'm second-guessing myself, tilting my head a little, checking again. Nope, not committing yet. Okay, I've got it lined up, so I'm committing. There we go. I think that looks great. And it looks straight. All right, panel is on straight. We survived, y'all. I'm starting with the sentiments, "You are always and in my heart." These are going on first with Altenew foam tape for that nice popped up dimension. I've trimmed the foam down into thinner strips so it fits neatly behind the delicate sentiment panels, making sure there's enough coverage so they don't sag in the middle once they are on the card. I'm not placing them perfectly straight. Instead, I decided to angle both sentiments slightly. The little tilt gives the design a sense of movement and a bit of personality, and it also works really well with the playful feel of the scissors. I hover each strip over the panel before committing, shifting them slightly left or right until the angle looks balanced and natural together. There was a little something stuck on one of my sentiment strips. Not sure what it was. Maybe a stray piece of glitter or a tiny bit of tape, but I think I got it. I think I gave it a quick clean, so it looks perfect. Well, I don't think it's perfect. There's still something there. Anyways, the sentiments are now fully in place, and I have to say, I'm really loving how this design is coming together. I've seen Kathy do beautiful blended backgrounds like this so many times, and I finally decided to give it a whirl myself. It was so much fun. I'll definitely be doing more. So as I was getting ready to add the scissors to the card, one of the handles decided to pop off. I had a quick fix with my Barely Art glue, and it's good as new. Once the scissors are secured, I move on to adding the 3 glittery gold hearts. I specifically chose an odd number 3 because it just feels more balanced and visually pleasing. These little hearts add the perfect finishing sparkle without taking away from the star of the show. And now the final reveal. Well, we're getting close to the final reveal, y'all. I absolutely love how this card turned out. The Distress Oxide blending gave me such bright, cheerful colors, and once that sparkle paste went on, oh my goodness, the whole background came to life. Pairing it with those mirrored gold sentiments and the glittery gold handle scissors really took it up a notch. It feels polished but still playful. I think the combination of shine, shimmer, and the handmade background really makes the whole thing pop. Okay, y'all, this one is definitely going in my stack of favorites. I'm not sure if you can hear the rain. It started pouring down rain out of nowhere recently, in the last 30 minutes or so. Not sure, it just came out of the blue, so I'm not sure if you can hear it in the voiceover here. And sorry if you hear my dogs, they don't like thunder, so they will probably start barking during the thunder if it thunders. So anyways, and I can already picture making more of these in different color combinations. Maybe a cooler tone version with blues and purples. That's one of the things I love about card making. Once you've got the basic design, you can take it into so many different directions just by changing up the colors of the textures. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me in my craft room today. If you enjoyed this project, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. I'd also love to know, what color combo would you use for this background? Drop it in the comments so I can get inspired by you too. And of course, I'll have my affiliate link to Spellbinders down below if you'd like to pick up this die set and give it a try for yourself. I can't wait to see what you create.